don't chickens be eating stones or something to put in their belly so they can help like digest food or something like that? I think that's some kind of thing. Maybe it's turkeys. One of them birds, they like eat rocks so that it can help them like digest food or something like that. I don't know. What I say to this topic is you can delete
What
that.
the hell does that have to do? What made you think of that?
I was gonna steer it back around because you said.
Are you ready for this? Are you ready?
Horrendous. All right, you guys ready? What's up, lifers, and welcome to the Daily Standup with Lifetime Value, where we're giving you fresh new customer success ideas every single day. I got my man JP with us. JP, do you want to say hi?
What's going on?
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And we have Rob with us. Rob, do you want to say hi?
What's up, people?
And I am your host. My name is Dylan Young, and it's just the three of us. Raise your hand if you've got something to share with the audience. Oh, that's Rob in his youth small shirt. Straining.
Extra small.
I buttoned it for you. It fits. It's
not for me. Don't you say that.
Bust
not
out of these buttons.
Me.
Anyway.
Brother, if you can't bend over to tie your shoes without your buttons straining, it does not fit.
I need to find someone to tie my shoes for me, is what you're saying.
Or you need to get those step-in Skechers.
Keep looking this good. Anyway.
All right, Rob, what do you got for us?
I went into the content well.
Yes.
Reddit. And on customer success Reddit, somebody posted, customer success should not exist.
And this is this just came out.
Came out. They said, okay, sorry for the clickbait, which I appreciate they're saying that. But seriously, the other day, I started thinking that if product sales, implementation, and support did their job right, we wouldn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
I already disagree. But most days it feels like CS exists simply to pick up the pieces from other departments, which in essence, it is a very important role and justifies having it. Would love to hear some counter on my way of thinking. I envy some of the people that come on here just to share how truly strategic they get to be with their customers, which, by the way, truly strategic. You guys know how I feel about that.
Mm-hmm.
It means anything to everyone. And the other departments and the discipline complement what they do. Is it really out there? Let's hear it.
No, not at all.
Tell me.
Is that Frank Slootman? Is that Frank Slootman _123? Because that's his whole concept.
It's Peach Asno.
Peach Asno?
Peach Asno.
No, not Peach Asno.
Okay.
Come on.
That's a Frank Slootman burner then. Or it could be mine. I've said the same thing. I think it's not a crazy thought because that is how a lot of B2C companies work. They don't have a customer success function, and they've absorbed customer success responsibilities into those other groups. Anyway, I don't need to beat that dead horse. JP, what do you think?
When you said that, it reminded me of don't chickens be eating stones or something to put in their belly so they can help digest food or something like that? I think that's some kind of thing. Maybe it's turkeys. One of them birds, they eat rocks so that it can help them digest food or something like that. I don't know. What I say to this topic is you can delete
What
that.
the hell does that have to do? What made you think of that?
I was going to steer it back around because you said some people have absorbed customer success. If you can't digest all this stuff on your own, right? Maybe you have to outsource it to get it from someplace else. But I guess you don't need customer success if you've already eaten all the rocks like a turkey has. That's what I'm saying. That's where I was going with the analogy, but I digress. We can get out of that. What I'll say about this is, look, you don't think you need customer success, bro? Don't do it.
See what happens.
Don't do it. See what happens. You know what I mean? And see what happens.
I know that's what Rob thinks because he already said he disagrees.
Yeah, so go ahead, see what happens. Maybe you don't really need it. Maybe you need it in some form, but I think at this point, a proponent of the inside-out approach. I think if you're building a company, maybe someone's, and one of the first things we need to do is get a customer success department. I want to be No. The first thing you need to do is figure out who your customer is, like some of this other stuff before we're just putting it out there. In the same way that we've talked about, don't go buying a CSP or buying all these gadgets in hopes that they are going to fix your problem. Look at it more like, what do we need to solve the problems that we currently have? So do it inside out. So the question, I get it, it's clickbaity because it's like, do we need customer success? And it's the answer that all customer success professionals have, which is it depends. So I think it just depends on your particular situation. But to that person's point, I'll just say, we've said it a lot. You do end up picking up a lot of stuff that sort of falls through the cracks.
Eating a lot of rocks.
Exactly. See, when I come with the fire analogies, I'm always coming with fire analogies, even if you can't see it.
While I generally agree with you, I'm not sure I understand this one, but I'm rolling with it. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, well, we have to acknowledge there's a difference between how things are and how they should be. And my concern for this person is that they've probably grown up in a bad world of customer success that was built incorrectly, right? But if we idealize for a moment and remind ourselves, what's the origin story? Why does this thing exist? Or to the contrary, we look at the world where customer success doesn't exist. There are real things that slip through the cracks. The person who says that customer success should not exist is the person who says, when you get married in a relationship, you're all set. You don't need to keep continuing to work on the relationship. But the conventional wisdom is obviously that you have to keep working on the relationship. You have to keep developing the relationship in order for it to keep renewing itself, in order for it to keep...
I agree with you, but I don't. And here's the reason why. First of all, because I'm a catch and my wife is lucky to be with me. No, I'm kidding. Because we're not saying the thing that needs to be said. We need to tease apart the difference between customer success motions and the title that somebody has called customer success. Customer success motions are critical, paramount. You usually cannot do without them, and that applies to B2C as well. Doesn't matter how good your product is. You don't necessarily, according to Frank Slootman and Peach Asno, you do not necessarily need a customer success manager. So while I agree that you need customer success to continue to improve upon your marriage and keep it happy, you don't necessarily... Your analogy breaks down there because you don't necessarily need a CSM to do that. You need those practices, those philosophies, those motions.
Right. You may not need like a marriage counselor for a successful relationship, but you still need the same motions that make the marriage successful. You just got to eat rocks.
You're looking for these out of the box marriages. You just go down to Home Depot, get you an out of the box marriage.
Locked in. Yeah.
No, I think the question becomes, when we were having this conversation, I pulled up my RACI chart of customer success org. And if you haven't done a RACI chart,
he did. Of course, pulled out the RACI.
Of course I did. So it's a way of looking at all the responsibilities.
On a Lacey chart, my man.
Oh,
that's good.
No, that's good. That's how I know you're not married, because there's not a lot of that anymore.
So I pulled up the list of what are all the things that CS orgs do, everything from support to implementation to renewals to success plans to value discovery to whatever. And I mean, upsells, and even in some CS orgs, it's even the tactical stuff like billing and invoicing, following up on past due invoices. And I hate that stuff, which usually we take it off the RACI, but sometimes it's there. But anyway, my point is to say, could we live in a world where we just wipe out that CSM section of the RACI chart and redistribute work to all the other departments? Feasibly. But does it make more sense to have it collectively living under one role? Yes. That's why the role exists. Because otherwise you've got such a disparate customer journey where you got this person doing billing who's conflicting with this person who's trying to run an upsell, who's conflicting with this person who's managing an angry customer with a feature request and a refund request. And you kind of need, in your words, Dylan, the conductor to bring that all together. A single throat to choke. In some phrases.
I think feasibly, this idea of feasibly sits over top of the entire thing, right? Does it make more sense to have it all live within a single department or a single title? Yes, sometimes. No, sometimes. And I think a big piece of this is the technology we now have at our disposal. Historically, we didn't have the technology. I think a lot about the technology that call centers use that centralize all of the information about an individual's account. So if I call once and I bitch and moan about something, when I call in 6 months, they know about it because it's sitting right there. And that's an incredibly elementary example, but I think it helps to frame the way in which we should view our customers organization-wide. And if we did that, you lose a lot of your argument about tribal knowledge or institutional knowledge, but not about your company, but about your customer. You wipe that off the slate. You don't need that anymore. And then if you extrapolate that out to just data in general, you start to lose a lot of the value of what CSMs do. I don't think that means they shouldn't exist. I think it allows them to do the things that are way more valuable. Because that stuff's not valuable. That's just trading information, emails and notes and junk like that, even chasing after invoices. What it allows them to do is to be creative with their customers, to really take the time and to listen and to be that strategy partner. That guy in Reddit was complaining that he doesn't do any things other people do.
I just noticed something really interesting. Most CSMs have never had a CSM. You ever think about that? Most CSMs, they've never been the economic buyer of SaaS software. They don't actually know what it's like to be on the other side of the table.
I've seen it. Well, I've been on calls where the CSM, I remember my first role, actually, a CSM showed up. He was horrible. I was appalled. I was like, in your
You
head,
knew, yeah.
I'm thinking all these CSMs or all this. He was,
ball.
terrible. He was awful. I was like, what? This happens? The confidence that some people have. I'm just going to say before we end the episode, I'm not into choking. So you ain't choking my throat. I'm not with it.
It's funny. I don't know that I've been the economic buyer a ton, except in the small things I do with lifetime value and things of that nature. But my wife has many CSMs that contact her, and she will pepper me every so often with, hey, is this what they should be worried about? Is this the person I should contact about this, or should they be talking to me about this? And I try to always conditionalize it and say, well, in my experience, this is the way it's been done. But it is almost every time, and this is probably just a condition of our profession, almost every time I do cock my head just slightly, and I'm like, it's not the way I would do it.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, that is our time. Thank you for bringing this Reddit post to our attention, Rob.
Yeah. Let's call this episode My Marriage is Falling Apart.
Marriage is falling
Thanks,
apart.
Pete Jasno.
Yeah, thanks, Pete Jasno.
Eat some rocks. Save your marriage. See you later, guys.
You've been listening to the Daily Standup by Lifetime Value. Please note that the views expressed in these conversations are attributed only to those individuals on this recording and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of their respective employers. For all inquiries, please reach out via email to dylan@lifetimevaluemedia.com. Find us on YouTube at Lifetime Value and find us on the socials at Lifetime Value Media. Until next time.